What's going on, guys? Can you hear me? Check, 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 check. Priscilla! Happy early birthday to you. I can't sing. Sorry, guys. Happy birthday, Priscilla. All right, guys, we have a ton. Check this out. We have not only have we had like the most contact ever in the month of November, but this is how much we have to cover this evening. So there's a lot of contact, and you guys are probably wondering, wait, let me just wait until some of you guys get on here, and then I'll explain. Yeah, looking on here. So November, 104. We received 104 messages. That's not including correspondence going back and forth, of course. So 104 direct messages. That's huge that's the most on record. I'm looking over the numbers. Yep. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm your host, Alexander John. This is episode 40 of the Lyran Connection. It's been a little bit, but you'll understand in contact, I was told not to disclose data or information. Anytime I do broadcast, they're totally aware. It gets broadcast throughout the entire galaxy. I know this galaxy, I don't know if we're dealing with 5 galaxies total. So a galaxy is a pinwheel, basically, in space with trillions of stars. What you see is so we're dealing with 5 different galaxies. I don't know when this broadcast, because if you want to go by what normal 3D science is, they say, well, sound and telecommunications, as it goes out into the galaxy and spreads through the solar system and outside the solar system, they'll pick it up in 5 years. No, it's like instantaneous. So what we fail to realize is that they far exceed our telecommunications and our technology. So they pretty much, whatever we do, they can hypersensitize that frequency to basically expand as rapidly or whatever they want to do, because there's all eyes on Earth. So it's not like we're some remote Tatooine. We're actually, there's a lot of different things looking at us. So before we go into contact and before we go into the numbers, I just want to say happy birthday to Priscilla. And some of my advisors, each of you have been contacting me, telling me about personal situations. We're in these trying times, so all of us, including myself, are going through these trials and tribulations. And as long as we keep communicating with each other and helping each other out, we're going to get through all these things for the near future. Sorry, a little off my game. It's a lot of contact to cover. There are multiple sending of the contact. When we go through contact, you're going to see multiple things that I'm dealing with, along with Commander Doug. I'm going to disclose some of that information, but I will say we're on episode 40, the big 40. 104 messages for the month of November, which is the highest on record. And we have already beat last year's messages it was at 231 for the year 2021. For the year 2020. For 2021, we're already beating 2020. So if that makes any sense. So all this is gravy. This is great news. All data is good data, we say. Even if we get contact from the dark side or terrestrial agents, which we do from time to time, and deception, that accumulates into the pool of data. And with that data, we can, it's kind of like when you have too many people dipping into the same pot, it's, you can start to see who's who and know who's what, because we have the luxury of having that many making contact with us. Instead of saying, I'm getting contact from a source, or this ship is contacting me and they're telling me, we get contact from light to dark, we get from Palladian, Anunnaki to Lyran, we get Draconian, we get it all. We get it all. But they all, what's good about that and what's different than out there than that you witness, whether it's books or other people who receive contact, I just happen to be, and also Commander Doug, individuals who receive contact on a level that is, because of my royal lineage, it encompasses a lot of different groups, a lot of different systems, and there's a time limit on where we're at on the earth of what's coming and what's going to happen and things like that. So with that being said, I just want to say, love you all. We're going to jump right into this. I'm rambling. I do want to say there's an ice storm up in Canada. I know Tara is throwing up the Discord after the show, after episode 40. We'll go on Discord for after show chat. And some of you I have to follow up on some data that, unfortunately, I'm all for total transparency. There are a few things in this contact that I have received that for right now, they're my most trusted advisors. I can only share that data with until I'm told I can share it with everyone else, only because my goal and mission right now is to share the data of what contact says, good and bad, and not point fingers at who and where, terrestrially, on Terra, on Earth, on whatever you want to call it. There are going to be ones who are getting contact, and there are going to be ones who are in these times, say false prophets or whatever you want to say. My thing is, I've had to work backwards in everything that I've done because I received contact. I was always interested in UFOs, but I never really dug into it. And we talked about it when I was kids and with Commander Doug, and then as I grew up, my father listened to Coast to Coast. He would tell me stories and I would be like, oh, okay, that's cool, or that's a little too far out for me. And then it got to the point when I started receiving contact all the way from 2013, and now we're in 2021 going into 2022, to the level of where they're telling me something's going to happen and then it winds up happening months later. It makes me humble. It makes me had to research others and see who and what's going on. And then I had to go down the rabbit hole. But with the aid of contact, it can also aid on what you're looking at with a new set of eyes. I have this natural gift and ability where when I meet someone, I know if they're good or bad. I can I know if it's light or dark, or if someone is, I have real strange things. And the other things are visions. Like I'll see a movie being played in my mind that hasn't happened, and then 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 days later, it'll happen, what you would call deja vu in the real time when it happens. You're like, whoa, I feel like that happened before. Or that was, for me, I've already seen it because it was like a movie in my head, and I'm like, where did that come from? And then it plays out, and when it's happening, even though you would think, well, you saw it in your mind and it's happening, you can handle it better. You actually are kind of like, you go through the motions, and then afterwards you're like, whoa, that's crazy. That's exactly what happened when I saw that movie in my mind 5 days ago. So when that happens, so that's a gift. So we all have different gifts. But anyways, I'm done rambling. We can save this for later. I'm just pent up because I haven't talked to you guys in forever. Just want to say, everyone, hey, what's going on? I don't want to name everybody. Stephanie, Priscilla, 76, Oliver, Tara, Angela, Priscilla. Guys, let's get into episode 40. A lot to cover. So, on the last episode, episode 39, we did receive contact while on the air. And let me just make sure I have that correct. Let's see, that was November 16th, we had that message that said, we have already submitted these things to you. We gave it to your brother. He does not know the powers which he governs. His actions are consequences which touch far and near, but he does not know. Communications at this time are even very difficult because of the optimum distance from your system. We were talking with the gatekeepers. We were talking with different, they were working to clear my name because I keep getting accused of doing crimes on Cremona. This moon in the system is 10,000 light years from here towards the galactic center. I've been here this whole time. We've come to find out there have been cDNA clones of me that have been used to create basically like kind of not blackmailing, because that would be I was involved. I wasn't involved, so they're using clones with my signature to do atrocities, and then saying, oh, look, it was him. It was the Prince of Lyra who did it. See, haha, we got him. And I continuously contest that is not happening because I'm here and I was discarded here. But that's a whole nother story. So, with that being said, Thursday, November 18th, 2021, I said, did you just fly over me? I have a lot of activity tonight over me. And then that was 7:15 p.m. that night was episode 39, right? And then 8:20 p.m. on that same day during the show, we are 57 million AU, which is astronomical units from your world. So we just, at first, because like when contact first comes in, you're like, oh, wait, you think you know, but you just don't know. For whatever is being said to you, every word, true contact, not channeling, not like, well, I think they said this and they meant this. No, their words. We are 57 million AU from your world. So 57 million astronomical units. Well, we know that's at first we're like, well, wait, how far is that from the sun? But we've figured out that's quite a distance, because we didn't, at the time we were in the real, so we didn't have that knowledge right away in our minds. So then we had to assess. I said at 8:23 p.m., what galaxy? 8:49 p.m., what system are you in? And at 10 p.m., are you all safe? And at 10:08 p.m., I said, hope all is well. Because whether it's light or dark, I'm not going to change my demeanor to be hostile unless they become hostile with me, or they try to, or I catch them in their act of a lie, not a lie, but like where they're trying to get me to side with them, because I don't know who I'm talking with until it's identified. So at that point, I said, I hope all is well, which I do. I wish goodwill to everyone. I don't want to act in the, I want to, okay, sure, hope all is well. Until they show themselves to be an enemy, then I'll deal with the enemy accordingly. November 19th, 2021 at 8:02 a.m. I said, I await your response. Thank you. Because it was about a day and I didn't hear anything and a lot was going on from last episode. And I was like, well, maybe they'll respond. Well, I guess the window's closed because they haven't responded. And then days went by, the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd of November. And then on Wednesday, the 24th of November at 4:55 p.m., they stated, through the physical and inexplicable cycle of life, so that all live in the 11th dimension, so that no chance of finding such a place has succeeded. We hear you. So I'll read that one more time. Through the physical and inexplicable cycle of life, so that all live in the 11th dimension, so that no chance of finding such a place has succeeded. We hear you. And what I took out of that is I'm dealing with from the 11th dimension on down. They're listening at this point. That's the key word. We hear you, which means, and I've had that in previous contact, where that basically means like, hey, we're always watching and guarding, but basically at this point in time, we're listening. We're listening to exactly what's going on all around you and what you're doing. Whether I'm interacting like, hey, I need gas on pump 14, like, you know, whatever it is, they're listening at that point. At 5:01 p.m., I said, because at the time when this happens, I'm living in 3D life. So with some of my questions, they're going to be a little off until my mind fine tunes on. And even then, I'm going to ask questions to try to get some answers. I said 5:01 p.m. We would live in the 11th dimension. 5:24 p.m. What is your location? And then I asked, I await your response. Well, I said, I await your response. Thank you. Wednesday, November 24th at 5:47 p.m. So less than 20 minutes later, they responded, we have scouting ships at the 4 gates. So we've known from older contact that there are 4 gates, main gates. And I've been talking with a lot of the guards of these gates. And they're saying we have scouting ships at the 4 gates. So they're just saying in real time at that point in time in our time, what is considered our time, not their time, but they have their 4 scouting ships at these gates. I said, can you tell me all right. So this is something that I was kind of leading up to in the beginning of the show. There's going to be a couple of messages that back and forth that I want to share everything, guys. You know I do. At the same time, it affects others that are also sharing data. I have it recorded as it's written and it's dated, it's time-stamped, it's everything. So there's no dispute. There's no like, oh, I'm going to go back and it's here. My advisors will get a copy of this. And I've been advised, and my gut tells me that at this point, it's not in the benefit of the people to have the information about individuals or certain things that are going on that it would affect the community. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. So what I'm going to do is there's only a few of them. I'm going to leave them out. But if I ever publish in the near future, which I'm planning to do, it'll be published in there because I have to share everything because it's for the people, it's for the earth. But at this time, it would cause, on the big picture scale, like, it would be a lot of good, it would be a lot of bad. So I'm just gonna leave it. And I hate that, and it sucks. But it would just cause a rip in our community that doesn't need to be ripped. At this point, use your heart and your gut to guide you when you're listening to information, even my information. I mean, I'm just telling you what I get. Whether, I'll tell, if I read you what context says, I kind of tell you what, but still it does. Even if you get everything from all sides, you don't know everything. Like, you don't. Like, there's so much data. So you have to become like, you got to come to it as humble and like open to possibilities that there are other things going on. And not everyone has all the answers. Because I don't have all the, and we're over 40 different races and deities and kingdoms and over 12 councils and federations, and it's a lot. And there's a lot of deception, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I'm just going to leave it at that. And it sucks. It hurts me. But I'm like, it's one cut or the next cut, So for right now, I'd rather you guys be mad at me and not telling you. And at least it's documented. And then when it comes out, you'll know when it's published or whatever. You'll see for yourself. It just sucks. It has to be that way. So, and with that being said, we're gonna keep going. What is, I said at 5:52 p.m. on November 24th, what is the exact location of the 4 gates or whereabouts? They responded on 24th of November at 5:54 p.m. This is where it gets weird. What are you doing with your brother in the Moon Cremona? Many tried to hunt you that night. Don't leave the world with him. Do not continue to share this information with those around you. We're working to clear your name. This is a major disadvantage. Now, let me just tell you about this message. I'm going to read it one more time. What are you doing with your brother in the Moon Cremona? Many tried to hunt you that night. Don't leave the world with him. Do not continue to share this information with those around you. And we're working to clear your name. This is a major disadvantage. What's crazy is, this is Wednesday, November 24th at 5:54 p.m. I received this message. A week earlier, I have private messages with my advisors and with Commander Doug. And Commander Doug also does receive contact. And if he receives contact, I also put it within mine, but I highlight it as his. He gets it once in a blue moon. Well, he hasn't been having any messages, but he's been having dreams. Now, I record everything in my manuscript. That's raw contact. That's not, well, I kind of dreamt, or I thought about this, or this just entered my mind. Anything like that, that goes in my journal, which is totally separate. I never do any of my journal. Maybe one time I referenced it, but my journal, like dream journal, visions, all that stuff that I have, I put in a journal. I never put it on with contact, because contact is talking with me, good, bad, the ugly. Whereas the journal is my interpretation, like I had a dream, or I had a vision, or I had this. Well, if Doug has a dream or a vision, I also put it in that journal. In that journal, it talks about a week prior, before November 24th on that Wednesday, Doug telling me about a very detailed, yet again, where he's like, you and I, it's like a desert moon or a world, and we're hiding, and we're full of adrenaline, and we're being hunted. Well, sure enough, Wednesday, November 24th at 5:54, they're saying, "What are you doing with your brother in the Moon Cremona? Many tried to hunt you that night. Don't leave the world with him, Astro. Do not continue to share this information with those around you, you guys. We're working to clear your name. This is a major disadvantage." So I don't recall these. I have detailed, and I'll have dreams like this, but I didn't have that one. And I have a real bad disadvantage of being wiped and put here because I've known all this information, all this stuff's going on, but I'm also put in a situation where things are happening that are out of my control. So, with that being said, then the next message on Wednesday, November 24th at 5:55 p.m. was, "One after your star." So they're answering about where the gates are located. So all you guys with ley lines and gates, take note, because this is it. This is for you, Stephanie. There is one gate, the one after your star. There's one after your nearest star, and there's a star beneath your ocean, and one in parallel to the galaxy. So the 4 gates are one after your star, one after your nearest star, one star beneath your ocean, and one in parallel to the galaxy. And my questions are as follows, as to my best of my ability. I don't recall going anywhere. I was not aware I left the world, so I'm not even answering about what we're just talking about. I'm talking about the being hunted in Cremona. So I'm like, I don't recall going anywhere. I was not aware I left the world. This is very disturbing information, which it is, because if things are happening and blowing up and all kinds of stuff and ships are being used and I'm not aware, it's disturbing because I'm being accused of being a part of that. I said, I will tell all until further notice. I cannot share any data unless you approve it. And that's when I shut everything down. I didn't even talk to anyone because too much was going on at that point. And then the next thing I said was, so somehow he is getting me while I sleep, meaning Doug. How can I protect myself? Can I pick one person to share with for documentation purposes? One of my advisors. And I have a whole team of advisors and they're all experts in different little fields that they're involved with. And they advise me, and I trust them, and I love them, and they wouldn't be advisors if I didn't care, or if they were not a part of the team, or I can totally trust them. And then I said, what about Tara? And I said, how can I prevent astral travel while I sleep? What are the names of each gate? I humbly await your response. Also, from now on, the line is clear, no sharing. So I'm letting them know I'm not sharing in case there's information or data that I need to get. The next message is one of the messages that I was talking about from earlier. I can't share, but I will share what they said. I won't say who it is. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm going to say, I don't care. I'm going to say what they said. They said, contact said, Thursday, November 25th, 11:01 a.m. in the 11th hour. No known information from this speaker is the truth. No, let me say that again. For the record, contact, no known information from this speaker is the truth. If that's not heavy, not me, they're not talking about me, but I'm just saying, be careful who you follow. Watch who you follow, Be careful who you follow, what you're watching. Absorb, see what resonates with you. But I'm telling you, contact saying no known information from this speaker is the truth. So someone who claims to be speaking the truth and has followers, books, or whatever they have, they're saying ain't none of it true. And that's disgusting. Because if you're straight up making up a story, I don't care who you are. And this goes, I don't care if I'm hurting anyone's feelings. If you're straight up just making up like contact or story, I think it's not only beyond disgusting, repulsive, I think it's as bad as the deep state, crimes against humanity. I don't give a crap what your angle is. I don't care if you're saying, well, we're for the light and we're gonna save every. I don't care. The root of it is you're lying. It's false. Whatever, if it's profitability, if it's because you're trying to get likes or followers. I don't promote the Lyran connection. We're under 1,000. I'll promote others. I'll say like Donut. I think he's a speaker of truth. And there's a bunch of others out there. They do good works. They do. They're awesome. And hey, I have a solid people who I deal with or contact. Like, I'm not trying to, but there are certain people. And the contact saying no known information from the speakers of truth. To me, that made my mind go, and I was like, wow. So that's all I'm going to say. Thursday, November 25th at 11:21 a.m. The Galactic Federation of Lights is magnificent. I said, indeed. What races comprise the Galactic Federation of Light? The gate under the ocean, is it under the crust or in the water itself? Because I'm talking about the gates again. Thursday, 12:31 p.m., November 25th. The gateway is a source of energy called certain circumstances that can influence such disturbances throughout the world, such as the distortion of time and space. The ocean is 600 miles from the east. So at the time, I'm like 600 miles from the east. So I'm thinking, because I've had contact from years ago that said about the Aegean Sea. And they're a bad race of they're affiliated with insectoids, but they're not insectoids themselves. But this race is affiliated with the Aegean Sea. Aegean Sea. Aegan. So that's where my mind was going. But then I realized, because I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is on the eastern seaboard of the United States, 600 miles east is Bermuda. And we know to the northwest of Bermuda is a Lyran base under the ocean. So at 12:35 p.m. I said the gate under the ocean is 600 miles east of me, Bermuda. The Lyrans say a base is 60 miles northwest of Bermuda. Is the base adjacent to the gate, or do the Lyrans control the gate? You guard the gates. Who is allowed to go through the gates? Thursday, November 25th at 12:40 p.m. They stated, this one has been used for thousands of years. I said, can a human body pass through a gate, and where does it go? And are these gates natural, or were they constructed? So over the years, I used to ask crazy just questions, but now I'm trying to be more surgical with my questions so I can get more of an answer. They did say on Thursday, November 25th at 12:42 p.m., created. So right there, boom. It's not a natural. It's not like it's a ley line where it's a natural gate. These are constructed gates. All right. So they said created. I said, is this lost ancient technology or can you make a gate anywhere you choose to build one? And their bases in, around, or on the sun or other stars. November 25th at 1:51 p.m. they responded, they do not hearken to the council begging him to communicate. Can't avoid Cremona's incident now. So, whoa, we're going way off subject. What are we talking about now? So they're saying they do not hearken to the council begging him to communicate. Can't avoid Cremona's incident now. So what they're saying is they're not listening to the council. They're begging him to communicate, and they can't avoid the Moon of Cremona, the incident. And sorry, I didn't get to mute my sound and all that on the device. I need to take a drink real quick. I was running behind. I just got everything scribed today. I will share this image, and I also posted it on the Lyring connection. At 2:13 p.m., I said, what happens next? And then I said, at 2:15 p.m., because when I stepped outside, I said, what is illuminating right now? It is to the left of the sunny. It is to the left of the sun, my point of view. And basically, I'll show it to you. So that is, and guys, I don't know if you've seen it, like the rainbow ball, and it's to the left of the sun or to the right of the sun. And yes, clouds and iridescence, and you're gonna see that. And some of you have told me, well, I've seen that a lot. And to be honest, for me, I have only noticed it so much because it happens like not once a year, but weekly, that I'm at a point where I don't even care. I don't even take a picture half the time. I don't remember being under 10 years old, and I used to look up at the clouds and lay down on the grass and stare. I don't remember seeing that at all, ever. And if I did, it would be like, no, I don't recall it. So maybe some of you have seen all that. So I don't know. But with older contact, the reason why I'm bringing this up is the ships give off a rainbow signature. The light ships, especially some of the warlight ships, the larger ones, they give off because of the light that comes off of them. They give off a rainbow signature, and I've had that on film as well. So sometimes I'm like, is that a natural? Or are they back again? Or what's going on? But I document it and I share it with you, and it's on there for you guys to view. November 25th, they respond at 9:43 p.m. Here they are. We are not monitoring your sky. No threat is recognized based on our information. So they're like, hey, because they're over the gates, they're like, we're not looking at your sky, but based on our systems, we don't see a threat right now. I said at 9:44 p.m., can you tell me more about how and why the gates were constructed? Because I think that's pretty cool. Like, not because I think it's cool if they were natural, but because they are constructed, and by whom, I don't know. I always like history, and I always like looking at who's doing, what kingdom, who, what, where. Because what was their thought process? I don't know. I think that's cool. So that's me. I'm inquisitive like that. Can you tell me more about how and why the gates were constructed? Friday, November 26th at 1:04 p.m. I said, I await your response. Thank you. I didn't hear anything back. So then I started asking off-the-cuff questions. I said, was Atlantis once where the continent Antarctica is now? How do you get permission to travel through a gate? Is there a list that you are updated with who is allowed to pass through the gates? Is our solar system liberated? I want to go into some of this other stuff. because it ties into what we will be published, but I'm not going into it right now. They responded Friday, November 26th at 10:16 p.m. We were ordered to cease communications because there was a long gap of why there was no contact. And then all of a sudden, boom, they're like, we were ordered to cease communications. So someone above them told him to stop talking to him because I'm rambling. I'm asking all these questions. Saturday, November 27th at 1:45 a.m. I received message. The Harper's Council, so this council is named HARPERS. The Harper's Council is the arms of recent affairs. As to the recent incidental fires, they terminate the communication until a resolution has been reached. Brother in power of asylum requested for you. That's a lot of information. And there's an image. The image I can't share, but it does show a gray sky. It shows the sister of the Soltraxi, the Soarer, Soltraxi Soarer, which is a you have fleets of ships. I don't know who's watching this for the first. So when you have fleets, you have different types of ships. This is a flagship. So the main of the Lyran forces, their main fleet is a flagship called the Soltraxi. This other fleet, is called the Soltraxi Soarer. The Soarer means the sister of the Soltraxi, which is the main flagship. That flagship was technology that was stolen a year and a half, 2 years ago. And the insectoids are involved and others. They stole that sister flagship. And they've been doing atrocities around the galaxy, basically, by using cDNA clones, accusing ones such as myself of doing crimes, and they're the ones who are actually using my genetic clones and the sister of the flagship and fleets to do runs and cause war and chaos, because just as is in heaven, it is on the earth. There is war and undermining and lying and or deceiving. There is in the heavens, and there's war. So I was discarded here. I am a Lyran prince, but I'm being accused of crimes I did not commit. So with that being said, it shows an image of a futuristic looking city on a desert world with bluish gray skies. It shows the Soltraxi Soarer flying over, like they caught it on camera. And it's setting fires into different parts of the city, which means that the home kingdom, the actual royal grounds, have had an attempted attack. Besides the Moon of Cremona, that the royal grounds have had an attack. So, with that being said, we'll repeat that last message with that context now that you have that. At 1:45 a.m. on Saturday, November 27th, they stated, the Harper's Council is in the arms of recent affairs. As to the recent incidental fires, they terminate the communication until a resolution has been reached. Brother in power of asylum requested for you. And I stated, what incidental fires at 6:05 a.m. because I just woke up. Like, what's going on? I was asleep. And what brother is requested for me? Now, here's where it gets crazy. Remember, I have my dream journal. I always keep that separate from contact, because when you have a dream or a vision, people say download or they have this, that, but whatever. that's coincidence, because I have like hardcore, either on my end taking images, or I receive images, or I have light and dark, different races, and I'm getting communications straight up raw in Latin or coded. So my journal for my dreams, well, that's not straight. I can't confirm that. So that goes in the journal. But what's happening here is I was asleep when this happened. Also, Commander Doug, who's a part of I was sent here with others, or discarded here with others, he has gifts as well. He's very well versed in astral, where I am not. Where I am starting to fall asleep or into a meditated state, I can actually start to, like the other night, I was consciously aware. I'm saying to myself, you're awake. I'm looking at my hand in as I'm falling asleep, so I know, okay, I'm awake, I'm dreaming, I'm aware, and immediately I saw symbols, all like reddish or greenish symbols, and it dissipated. It went away right away, and I broke through and I saw a planet. I was in space. I saw a planet. It was red and orange. It looked like Star. Who knows Star Wars? You know Geonosis. It has, or like Saturn. It has a ring around it. Well, this didn't have a ring around it. It was orange and red, but it had like looked like wings coming off of the world. This, or maybe it was a planet. Maybe it was a moon. But it was definitely reddish orange. And it was so real. And I was not dreaming, and I knew I was aware, and I was, because I've been practicing. So I'm like, whoa, this is happening. And then I freaked myself out, and it zoomed out, and then I calmed my mind for a second, and I saw the symbols again, and then it broke through, and I saw the planet again, which told me, right? It said, be careful. In Old Contact, over a couple years ago, it said, be careful of your dreams. So even though they talked about dreams, I still won't put my dream journal in with Contact manuscript. So I keep it separate. But now it's like all the worlds are colliding. It's like, I'm like, things are happening, and they're saying, and I'm seeing things, but it's not straight contact. So at this point, things are starting to merge. So keep that in mind. That's why I went off on that. I said, what is this image of? Where is this? Saturday, November 27th at 7:51 a.m. They responded, picture from the Lyra, the sister of the ship, so the Soltraxi Soar, is dragging through you. The ship's captain and your brother are attacking the king's city. So they're saying, I'm with my brother, and I'm attacking the king's city, which is the royal grounds, which I would never do. Even if I was in a situation where I'm like, I gotta attack the king's city, there would be some knowledge or some data of why. I know I'm a good person. I have a good heart. I would have I wouldn't just attack the royal kingdom. There would have to be, like, unless there was like a coup or something going on. So they're saying, so I asked, what is the Harper's Council? So, there's a delay. So I'm asking an older question. Are you saying Lyra was hit by me? Who is speaking with me? Saturday, November 27th at 9:16 a.m. They respond, that is Soltraxi. Don't play innocent. He had brought the outsiders to our house, and the war had not been neglected. The worm of the future, infiltrator, we hear your disappointments and the agitated minds. Concerning you, brethren, let it be done thus. So I'm like, what? I said, who did what, and who are you? And when you say he brought outsiders, who is he? Identify yourself when speaking to me. I have been on the earth the whole time. Someone is using clones of me and others to cause mayhem. If I had access to any of my ships, I would be presenting evidence to counter such claims against myself. Saturday, November 27th at 1:24 a.m. I received this. I am king of the 9 councils of Arizel. So Ariezell. I am king of the 9 councils of Arizel, keeper of the 11 pillars, and ruler in the circles of the moon. The manager watches technology and decides my people. You sensed your arrogance in this way. We know you're teaching about your body and your time, and in your world we know your time now. And by such a design your allegiance was brought to us by our dealings. When the king speaks, there is one time, and it is not good. Third, please don't open your eyes and manage fraternal interactions with many species and peoples. Understand that this is the flagship with your signature unique to the fire that has been used against our city. The sacred city is safe, and we have taken you into exile until you get possession of it from your travels, until it is collected and transported to our time and coded. And then there's some space, and then it says cave outside, and then it has my signature code, which is dash double dot dash double dot dash, right? So just for everyone, I know it's long, but I'm going to read it one more time because some of you I know take notes and research stuff, and I appreciate it because I can't find anything with this name, Arizel. They say I know everything, but since I was wiped when I came to the earth, like my memory is going to be restored when I go back. But so now in Lyra there's strife in the city. So there's ones under my father and I'm a prince, and then there are ones who are under someone else there's like a coup going on and things going on politically, like on earth as it is on heaven. So I do want to say, and there's councils involved, but this is what they said. I am king of the 9 councils of Arizel, keeper of the 11 pillars, and ruler in the circles of the moon. The manager watches technology and decides my people. You sensed your arrogance in this way. We know you're teaching about your body and your time, and in your world we know your time now. And by such a design your allegiance was brought to us by our dealings. When the king speaks, there is one time, and it is not good. Third, please do not open your eyes and manage fraternal interactions with many species and peoples. Understand that this is the flagship with your signature unique to the fire that has been used against our city. The sacred city is safe, and we have taken you into exile until you get possession of it from your travels, until it is collected and transported to our time and coded. Cave outside. I want to reference, they talk about right here, they say, when the king speaks, there is one time, and it is not good. So whoever this is within Lyra, who is a part of the other side, that coup, they're like, yeah, so you're basically, you got one shot to talk to the king, but I'll tell you this, basically, you got one time to talk to him, but it's not going to be good for you. So like, they're trying to scare me. And then third, please don't open your eyes and manage fraternal interactions with many species and peoples. So what they're saying is, my philosophy is, I get contact terrestrially and extraterrestrially over 40 different races and I have different nations and countries within this world, good, bad, the ugly. They make contact, they're calling me out. They're stop being friends with everybody, allowing them to speak to you. Because I'll let you speak to me until I see that your works or your deeds are not good, and then because I'm not going to judge you. Like if someone contacts me from some blah 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 system, what am I going to go? Oh no, they might be. I'm going to say no. I'm going to hear them out. Maybe, just maybe, could be just because a whole system doesn't mean it's all bad. Like just like Earth, right? That'd be like Earth is bad, but there are good people on Earth, right? But there are really bad, evil, nasty, sick people on Earth. There are. But what about the good people on Earth? Just like what about the good beings on wherever? So they might be under a tyranny, or they might be. So I always hear out whoever wants to speak to me until their deeds, if they're trying to trick me or trying to learn, they're sent on them, and then it's exposed. But at least the data's here, and then you have it, and then to me that's the best way to operate. Anyways, so with that being said, I said, what is the cave outside and why? Because at the end they wrote, after a couple of a gap, it said cave outside and then my code. I said, what is the cave outside and why is my code signed at the end of your correspondence? Who is the king? What is his name? Where is Arazel? And then I said to him, Your Majesty, I know what things appear to be, but I assure you, I was not present during these events, and I have dated record keeping to prove such, which I do. Now, if I'm astroing and I'm not aware of it and I just don't remember, then that's another story. But I can't prove or disprove that. But I think the enemy's trying to trap me on that. But I know the good guys, the light forces, they know that my intent isn't that. I know that's why they're. Well, anyways, we'll go into it. But here it goes. November 27th, Saturday at 3:57 p.m. They say, the ancient city was destroyed by the result of the cloaked tower, which exposes much of our buildings. We understand how it looks, but it just happens under a blood note, sitting and focused on strangers. In the future, this event will be given a ballot for the disciples of this kingdom. So they're saying that in the future, the event that took place, there will be a song basically sung for these disciples of the kingdom. I said, when you say ballot, does that mean a song? And if so, what does a ballot from where you are sound like? What is the definition of a blood note? Saturday, November 27th at 4:02 p.m., they responded, information you have acquired from strangers, from the gates and the sentries on discovering the crime, our information hiding services. So wait a minute. Whoa. Information you have acquired from strangers, from the gates, and the sentries on discovering the crime. So I know, because I know I'm being set up and blackmailed on this, where they're using these clones to do atrocities and then blame because they know I'm a royal prince, and that would affect the political climate back on Lyra. So, our information hiding services. So basically, like they're doing a private investigation. I said, what strangers? Do you know the ones who guard the gates? And then November, and I'm dealing with multiple things here. They're taking shifts or different bad, light, good, dark is coming in, right? So Saturday, November 27th at 4:05 p.m., they respond. They report to us to direct them to the king's chamber. So I said, whom is the king? And they respond at 4:11 p.m. Treachery is, take this lesson, now you know. I said, are you saying I was deceived? And then on 4:19 p.m., they responded, "That is true." And I said, "And what race are you?" And then at 4:21 p.m., they respond, King Lyra to the council. So now King of Lyra, King is speaking to the council, because remember, for a long time the council wouldn't even hear me. The gatekeepers and the sentries were going up to talk to because of who I am. They're going up to the council, because there's many councils, but they're going up to the main. They're saying, "Hey," and they won't hear it. My brother is blocking it. So now the king has stepped in, Lyra to the council. So I respond, "Finally, King Lyran, thank you for speaking with me. I wish to know why so many are playing games with me, and why so many continuously tried to incriminate me, and why so many on all ends try to befriend me and lie to me. Thank you for your audience. I am still confused and have no memory from being wiped. I mean no harm to anyone, and I wish to be unblocked with my memory and be able to speak in person." And the response was, "Your human mind, rooted in your body and clean in your body, can't bring back memories in full. Your military proctors might destroy you." And I'm like thinking, what is he talking about? Because he's saying your human mind, rooted in your body and clean in your body, can't bring back memories in full, which means that you can bring back memories with some memories. It says not in full, but some. Your military proctors, so terrestrial military that's monitoring, watching, they might destroy you. He's telling me honestly. And I said, these military proctors are terrestrial here or extraterrestrial. Will I ever return back to life? Because they told me that it would be like 9.5 years or 9 years now at this point when I return, because I missed my Bermuda trip to go, waiting on wisdom. He responded, "You do not choose to return to the Platarian unless your time has arrived, and your memory will be fully restored in your new body. Understand that your information is on the cusp of educating and keeping you safe, and it will be totally harmful to you having full documentation or physical information." So let me repeat that again, because that's some heavy stuff. You do not choose to return to the Platarian unless your time has arrived and your memory will be fully restored in your new body. Understand that your information is on the cusp of educating and keeping you safe, and it will be totally harmful to you having full documentation or physical information. I said, this makes a lot of sense. Thank you for allowing me to understand. Am I still protected? Because for a long time, I've always been told I'm protected. And then there was a time where, like, you're not protected anymore. You're cast out. You did all this stuff. Cremona, blah, blah, blah. And then I received at 4:53 p.m. on Saturday, "Don't be alarmed by strangers. Let no one come to you but through us. Don't be deceived by other nations." And then he also stated, "No one can ever conquer our united power in this galaxy. Protection never stopped." So he said, "Don't be alarmed by strangers. Let no one come to you but through us. Don't be deceived by other nations. No one can ever conquer our united power in this galaxy, and protection is never stopped." I said, so they have been lying to me again. Wow. Do I still return in less than 9 years? Sometimes it's hard to tell who or what is making contact. I said, "Do you see all? And if so, I wish to know which allies and which enemies have been either contacting me or watching me. Thank you." At 5:01 p.m., November 27th, that Saturday, I received, "They don't lie to you. They convince you of real information in the hope of a hidden variant rooted in your coded algorithm, and they're trying to destroy you. They can only come to you from the world. We keep the order. On the other hand, he established the last treachery into the highest order of kings." I said, "What must I do next? Should I be telling the people of the world or not about what's going on?" And then there's another excerpt from earlier of transparency. At this moment, I can't share that. And I did receive a response Saturday, November 27th, 5:25 p.m. "No one outside the world knows your threats except one. Chip's true origin has introduced the name Recticilianin into a gray form," and I'll spell it for you. RECTICLIANIEN. Chip's true origin has introduced the name Recticilianin into a gray form, which he had acquired in his youth, and his strengths are already linked to this combination and non-human possibility. So red flag, I'm thinking, Commander Doug. I said, "Who is Chip?" Because at the time, I'm not thinking about a chip. I'm thinking about like a name, Chip. I said, "And please explain his origins, etc. in more detail. Thank you." At 5:41 p.m. Saturday, November 27th, I received, "The implanted machine, which is invested in the depth of the cerebellum," so in the cerebellum, "acquires new connections between the brain and the brain," so like left and right hemisphere of the brain, "and increases it as long as it grows up. The origin of the Lyri is also 400 years old." 400 years old for us. So time is different. Just like in ancient texts. So a day on earth and then a day in heaven are totally different. Research that, but I'm going to keep going. So they're saying the origin of the Lyri is also 400 years old. The gray specimen of the Recticilian genus, genus, began on Earth during its youth. Not knowing that you already know, you understand like a feline, but not the memory of his salvation in the world. I said, "Do I have a chip in or around the brain?" And then the response at 5:46 p.m. Saturday, November 27th, "You do, but not the same code." I said, "You said make sure they come through you to get to me. How do I know when it is you making contact with me? How do I not get deceived by other nations?" And then the response at 5:50 p.m. Saturday, November 27th was, "My son, you knew after my foreword, believe in yourself and you will always know." I said, "Father, is it really you?" "Thank you, Father. May I tell the people of the world or do not share?" And at 6:40 p.m. Saturday, November 27th, he said, "You can share." Thank you. That ends my chapter, but that doesn't end. We have more contact. Commander Doug received contact. And at Tuesday, November 30th, Commander Doug at 7:03 received an image. The image is a feminine female on a ship. She has a cloak. I can't tell, to be honest, if it almost looks like we're whiskers or it's reptilian. Either way, it's either Lyran or it's reptilian. but I'm on the edge of Lyran because of what was said in the context to Commander Doug. Because if Commander Doug is actually having these astro, and he doesn't, it's not like he's controlling it, but he can when he first goes into it, and then it may go off into a direction and involve me. Not that I'm defending him, but he's not totally consciously aware. And it actually says in here. So you have an image of, she looks like a Jedi, like if you would see in the Star Wars, with freckles and where maybe whiskers or maybe, and then she has like a cloak thing, and then she has a cloak on, and she's in a ship, and it was at 7:03 p.m. And then the message that followed was to Commander Doug. You look at your face first. You recall the encounter and the journey. These things you cannot survive, are dangerous and cause the problems of many colonies. Your dignity is the kingdom, brother of the Lyri prince. Thou shalt fight their wars and defend our ways. We're on this road. Watch out for your next step. Commander Doug responded, I understand it is out of my control, though. Because he doesn't realize, and when he's in the thing, he knows he's kind of on for the ride at that point. But he's doing things. They responded, in a short space of time, you will have control. Doug responded, wasn't I to not continue or try to cease from these acts? They responded at 7:26 p.m. on November 30th, Tuesday. As long as you can do it in open consciousness, then you will understand what needs to be done. Doug responded, why is this the first time you or whoever you are is contacting me in this format? And they responded, you know who we are. The reason is that the laws against the acts you are committing, the kidnapping of the palace, the compelling and the power of the will must be stopped, but it demands the effort. And Doug responded, okay, because he really doesn't want to cause a problem. And then when Commander Doug told me this and sent me the data so I could then record it into the manuscript, because I do everything chronologically in order. I mean, that's what this whole thing is. And it's all documented. And then I asked, well, I didn't ask. I stated to the line that I knew was encrypted. I said, brother has come to me stating you have warned him. And then I said, thank you. Because I truly don't think Commander Doug would do any of these things on his own. Something is happening where, and we'll go into the Discord after, and we'll have conversation. So we had the gatekeepers. We had definitely like Reptilian involved and Cremonan involved, making contact, and then we had my father involved, and then we had messages to Commander Doug, where the Lyrans are basically warning him. They know what he's doing. They're calling him out, and he knows finally and is aware, and they're telling him he's going to realize even sooner that things are happening. So, with that being said, isn't that a crazy episode 40? Because that is some nutty stuff, but it's all documented. It's in order for you guys. If something happens, you guys have these chronological. And I appreciate all the, I've had some donations, and I'm going to tell you, I really, from the bottom of my heart, it's been a tough year. It's been a tough year on everybody, but I appreciate you guys, and that's not what I'm running off of. The whole point is, at least everything is documented and it's there. So if something happens, I have fail safes to where you as the people can pick up off of where we left off. Yeah, a lot of it's catered toward, because I'm the Prince of Lyra, blah, 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 and Commander Doug. But the point is, there's juicy data in those nuggets whether it's the light, the dark side, or whoever. It's the truth. It's right there. It's you have a balance. It's not well, I'm just talking with these certain guys and they've been talking to me since 2013. No. It's like all over the place. So it's a blessing. That's why I guess it's a curse and a blessing, because you get the good and the bad and the ugly, but you get everything. But if you get everything, then you can kind of weigh, and then it's an easier path than you're told like a lump of gold, lump of gold, lump of gold. This is all this, and then it's only one sided, and then you realize, oh, there's all this depth and all this stuff going on, and points of view and lenses of what people or beings or. So with that being said, I'm sorry about the things that I couldn't share, but when it is published, eventually, I'm not trying to publish to be rich. I want to publish so it's on the record, so everyone and anyone who can get a book can get it and have the data, because I think people all around the planet are receiving contact, or they're on a mission, or I'm not somebody special. I just happen to be, I know it's retarded to hear, but I'm sorry for using that word, but a Lyran Prince, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure globally, and it's hinted through in contact over the years that there are others out there who are receiving contact. And I hope they're doing their best to share whatever community, or if they have access to the internet or globally, to share that data, because that's data that's not, like, there are names like that last name I spelt out for you, that errors. I can't find it in any books or anything on it, and part of me is like, wow, that's amazing, because I can't find it, so that's even makes it even more unique. But at the same time, I almost wish I could find it, so that way I could have, well, there's some depth, because some ancient culture at one point, blah, 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 blah. Like, I wish there was, but at the same time, so it's like the blessing and the curse, the blessing and the curse. So there's a new name for you that I spelt out on that. But with that being said, normally I would read through a lot of this. Love you guys. I know we've been on here. It's to get up to today, to this point. I was like, in the middle of the day today, I was like, oh my goodness, I finally caught up scribing, because what I do is when I get the contact, I have to break it down and the code and all that crap, and then I put it into, and I handwrite it exactly. If it comes in and there's like 3 spaces and there's like a little weird symbol, it's exactly, so that way if I miss something in the translation, someone can go back, nope, this is exactly the way it came in, so we don't have to worry about that part. He messed up here, but it actually said this instead of that, but it was close, but at least you have it. And I'm just doing the best that I can from hand. So sorry guys. That's what I've got. I love you all. It's been crazy. Happy birthday, Priscilla. Episode 40, pretty cool. Hey, check out Donut. What up? It's Donut. Check out his stuff. He always says, for all your Illuminati news. But his stuff is on point. If you actually watch his videos, I wish I had his editing skills, because I guess this is like your raw footage from like a in depth. Like if you found this in like in a shipwreck and you're like, what is this weird archaic video? Some of these guys make awesome videos, and you have to give them credit. They're doing the work and making it happen, and they're speaking the truth, and that's what it's all about, speaking the truth. So, and sharing what you have, and whatever happens, let the cards fall where they are. But for my specific journey, I wish I could just like rescue just all of you guys and get you off world and we go. But even for me, like, it's trials and tribulations. We're gonna have to go through it all together. We're going through this. This is the it's multiple parts of a Mark beast system. It's a reptilian controlled thing. It goes back, and I mean, just take a moment and read some documents. Because either a lot of people in the top of the 1% are interested in a lot of phony baloney stuff, or I think their time is too important for them. They wouldn't waste their time in fantasy with that aspect. So if they take it serious, you should probably double question and be like, why would they take that serious? Because that seems a little ridiculous. Let me look into that, and then look in what that is, and then you can see how this encompasses off-world and goes way out there. So with that being said, this has been episode 40. I am Alexander John. This has been the Lyran Connection, and I'll see you guys on Discord. Thanks for being here. I love you guys. Have a good night.